There's a war going on, the books can't escape from the team. Call the morning, call the minutes, time to break, run for cover. That's gonna cover, that's gonna cash. Then we call the morning steam, it's time to break, run for cover. That's gonna cover, that's gonna cash. Then we make the 100-yard dash to the window. I don't know what you thought. It's Ramon Scott, running so hot. Sports make money and we make money with sports money every single day. NFL, NHL, NCAA. Stay away from the juice, we might play a parlay. It's the morning steam. What? Ramon Scott, sports money. What? Wake your ass up and let's get to the money. Get to the money. You know how we do it.
All right, a pleasant good morning to you coming from the sports betting capital of the world, Las Vegas. This is Ramon Scott, and welcome to the Morning Steam Show here for Wednesday, March 11th. We've got some conference tournament play. We're just minutes away, well, a couple of hours away from conference tournament play. We've got all-day basketball here on Wednesday. Get ready for Selection Sunday. We start to whittle it down and see who's going to go, see who's going to advance, see who's get these automatic bids from the big conferences here this week. We still got to wrap up some of these other ones as well, some of the mid-majors here this week. We had some more championship games last night, and we had some things going on here obviously last night we've got to talk about, but there is a little bit of breaking news here this morning. A couple notes here right now. We got basically a story everyone's been waiting for here right now is the Ravens are signing edge rusher Trey Hendrickson. We'll see if did that become a priority of theirs once the deal for Max Crosby apparently has fallen through. The Ravens made their pursuit, or were they already? But yeah, you think maybe they weren't, but they get Hendrickson here, the touted free agent who was with the Bengals, one of the best players, certainly defensive players, I think, in the league. I think everybody agree with that. So he does sign with the Ravens there just within the last few minutes. It was announced there that he would be joining Baltimore. So a little bit of news. It's as big as last night's news, but it is the new news here. So we want to break that news here, talk about it here to start the show. I guess some other things did go down there last night. So let's talk about what everybody's talking about here today with Bam Adebayo and his great performance last night. I say it was great. I mean, there's some controversy, and you guys can say what you want. Anybody can say what they want here about Bam and his 83-point performance last night. It is a bit of a reflection of the times, I think, when it comes to Bam and his 83-point performance. It will go down as the second most points in a game in NBA history. It was a great performance. Okay. No doubt about it. Now you'll wonder about the numbers here a little bit with 20 of 43. He missed 23 shots. He could have easily had 100 points there. He couldn't make any. He made some threes, but he missed some threes. He missed some others. You imagine how many points he would have had if he wouldn't have missed 15 three-point shots in the game, right? But 36 of 43 free throws in 42 minutes. That's a lot. So it's not necessarily so much Bam Adebayo, though, that, look, great player, man, national team player. Great career, certainly. You almost have to think that, not that one game would put someone in the Hall of Fame, but Bam has been very, very good in his career, and his career is not over. But, for Bam in that game, it wasn't so much about his performance as it was where we're at right now with the league and the tanking, right? We're already seeing some big point totals here towards the end of the season with some of these teams and players, games getting up there 140, 150 points. We talked about that game. We talked about the game yesterday here, right? Because we were on the Heat, but we were talking about how we expected the Heat to, probably put up a pretty big number in the game yesterday against the Wizards, just due to the situation, right? It's about the tanking here because, what happens was he had that record-setting first quarter, right? Was it 31 points, second most ever behind Kevin Love there in the first quarter. And look, he's having his best offensive season ever. He works perfectly in that Heat offense. Um, he basically is putting up some of his better numbers offensively as well. If there's ever been one thing about Bam in his career that we've said maybe could make him more of a great player, would be a little more offense from Bam. But so after the record-setting first quarter, he had 43 points at halftime. Basically, that was his career high already right there. But what did the Wizards do with their halftime adjustments? I don't know what they did, but they gave up 40 more points in the second half. So they made the halftime adjustments on Bam. He did shoot under 37% in the second half and basically got all of his points in the second half from free throws and wide open dunks. And then they started feeding him so he could get more points and more chances at the foul line. So he's the only player in history to score 70 points while shooting below 50%. There's been some 70-point. You think of the great David Thompson out there. So, look, but having 35 free throws in a game, I mean, that's a hack-a-shack territory, right? Only a few people have ever had that many free throw attempts in games, and those are the guys who are fouled intentionally. Guys like Dwight Howard, Andre Drummond, and Shaq. So Bam had 16 free throws in the fourth quarter alone. The Heat were up 20 the entire game, so he wouldn't have been even in the game there. He could have scored more in the final minute if he wanted to. They pulled him out with a minute 15 left in the game. So, look, you can compare it to the great Kobe Bryant. I remember where I was in a living room in Claremont watching 20 TV, watching 10 TVs, betting on games, back when Kobe had his incredible 81-point game performance. And, as a kid, we all knew about Wilt. There was never any film on Wilt's game, remember, but the media was the one who made him draw that sign, and that's why you saw Bam Adebayo with the 83 sign, because the only thing they had from Wilt's performance really in that game, which was not final. When Wilt scored, that game was played in Hershey, Pennsylvania. It was like a neutral site game. The NBA was did a little more touring back then, playing games. And when Wilt scored 100 points, that game was played in Hershey, Pennsylvania. So just it does give you an uncomfortable feeling there that they're willing to do it. But I saw him making some shots. I mean, it was happening early, but again, it's more about the tanking here, I think, with the 150 points. It's more of a mark on the league than it is to bash Bam Adebayo, because the league cannot get their situation under control. And we saw lots of high scores again yesterday in some of the games. And those high scores are coming in games that are tankathon games, right? Such as that one yesterday. So watch out. It could happen again with one of these hot scoring studs, right? Bam Adebayo is not, we've got some guys who can really fill it up, and they could do it again. They could have another situation like this, and it's really because of the tankathon, I think, there. So great job for Bam Adebayo with 83 points in the game, second most points all time there. And hey, the Miami Heat, there, like I said, we've talked about them. We've had a great year with them. We had them, we had them here on the morning steam yesterday as well. In fact, over at another site where I put my high roller boutique premium plays, I wrote the game up and said, I expect a very, very high score in this game. I had over as a premium on the on the high roller boutique plays over there at Tony's, and I basically said in my write up, I expect the Heat to put up a very, very big number in this game. I said in my write up, the Washington Wizards will have very little resistance for the Miami Heat. Now, I wasn't talking, I didn't say Bam's going to dominate, Bam's going to do, but I said the Heat were going to have a very, very strong offensive performance in that game. And it's because of the current situation with the tankathon. And, we've been all over the tankathon here a little bit. Yeah, we take some losses, but uh, feels like more often than not, those tankathon teams get buried, and then the other team ends up winning 140 to 125, 135 to 121, things like that. So I don't want to say don't blame Bam, celebrate Bam, right? He's already, yeah, his partner is Asia Wilson, who has the most points in WNBA history in a single game. So how about that? All right, and she was up there on the interview platform with him last night. She was in the game. She was at the game. Mom was at the game. So, and hey, we said Miami's got a chance to do something here. I don't think they're as good as those top teams, but they're obviously playing pretty well. And Bam, maybe he'll play with a little bit more confidence here. Like I said, I think one thing about Bam is he's sometimes not had the offense that we'd like to see from him in some spots. So good on Bam, and good for the Heat, but not good for the NBA. I don't think. I think I think more for the NBA. It's doesn't look good on the surface, but as time wears on, his name will continue to be there, and I think as time goes on, less people will say what happened in that game, right? But the stats will always be there. The stats will always tell the story about the game and about the performance of Bam Adebayo. All right, so there was some other big news here last night. Not all of it's good. Here is the United States baseball team, men's national baseball team, loses to Italy last night. Talk about embarrassments. Uh, you can already, I don't, whatever you think about what's going on with our country right now, and maybe you're embarrassed about, trying to play the world's policeman or something like that. But maybe we need to focus our attention on trying to compete in the World Baseball Classic. We've said it here already a little bit, because I don't want to pile on Team USA and um, be critical of the national team here, but I've tried to hint that I think that they haven't looked motivated. They have, with the situation with Tariq Skubal, right? The crowds of the other teams so much more passionate than the crowds of the United States team. We take it for granted that they're gonna go on and win this tournament. I mean, how could any team really beat this team, right? Given the talent uh, on this team, right? But the other teams are playing so hard. Dominican Republic and Japan. We already know those are top contenders here right now for the uh, World Baseball Classic, and other teams have performed well this week at the World Baseball Classic, kind of throwing their hat in the ring that they can compete with some of these teams like Venezuela, if you will, Italy, got to throw in Italy in there, Cuba, and such. So the U.S., they're not even sure about who should be on the team, it feels like right now. And they want to go back to spring training, get ready for the season. This is an inconvenience. So maybe it is. Maybe this is, here's the problem with this is a nice tournament. I think if you watch some of those games, when you watch the Dominican Republic, you can't help but get all wrapped up in the fans. I mean, because the game is really all about the fans, isn't it? I mean, these sports are nowhere without the fans. We all aspire to be professional athletes when we're growing up, or the dreams of kids when they're playing sports and they think they can be the next big star at their high school or in college, get a college scholarship and whatnot. But uh, this group just looks uninspired out there. Uh, Even when they had pressure on them, right? They got close. They put the tying runs on and a few points there late in the game against Italy. But hey, my guy from the Padres, the number 11 pitcher from the Padres, gets the strikeouts, gets the big outs there for Italy, and hey, maybe Italy. Those guys are having fun too. They've got their own espresso machine in the dugout. They said coffee is for drinking in the dugout during baseball game. What do the U.S. have? Every other team's got the fancy. They've got a cowboy hat. They've got a jacket. It feels like the U.S. Uh, you know, can't even figure out what to do with their celebrations because they just don't even know who's going to be who's going to make the big hits or the big plays, and they're not. The stars aren't making the big plays there. So right now the news has been released here just a little bit. I do want to say that there's a number of college. Yeah, there's college coaches fallen by the wayside here in college basketball. Oh, we have time to go over them all right now, but uh, uh, actually, just want to say here, though, that the news is just broke uh, that the World Baseball Classic and Fox have changed their plans here a little bit for television now. I was going to tell you guys today that the big game between Italy and Mexico was going to be on Tubi. And anybody who gets subscribes to Tubi, they do show a little bit of Fox Sports programming on there and some live programming as well. Sometimes they farm it out there, and you got to make sure you have your Tubi app loaded up. But they have made a change, and now the game between Italy and Mexico, make sure I get this right, will now be on Fox Sports 1 today, because we got to pay attention to that game now, because the U.S. Could end up on the outside looking in. And that's what I mean about that's the problem here, because look, it's a worldwide event. Those other countries are having great fun, but this is kind of geared towards the audience of the United States in a way. And this tournament is funny because, I've heard some people on shows like ours here with some other talking heads kind of say, boy, this team won to this team, won to this team, won to this team. It's funny because, when the United States beat Mexico the other night, that was actually the first time in 20 years that they'd beaten Mexico at the World Baseball Classic. I mean, granted, they didn't play them really in some of the years, but there was an upset also a few years ago with the Mexican team over the United States. And this team is a quad annual event, except when the pandemic came and they actually didn't play it for 6 years. So I think people kind of forgot about it, even though it's been played since then. And back in 2023, a few years ago, they kind of had to put it back on the right schedule here a little bit. It was being played as a quad annual event every 4 years, kind of like an Olympic style or a World Cup style. But the pandemic messed everything up, of course. So people didn't even know that this event has been around for so long, right? But if you don't have the U.S. successful in this, they're not going to play this. They'll just cancel this tournament. Not this particular one. I'm just saying in general, they might just not do this anymore because the U.S. just doesn't take it seriously. And like we've seen with a lot of sports, like all-star games or something like that, if they're not getting great performances from the players, it looks fraudulent to fans, and the fans don't want to pay attention. Now, that's not to say that those other teams aren't totally paying attention. Right now, we see the great crowds from the Dominican Republic there, and the great crowds in Japan for the first round of these games. So if the U.S. doesn't have success, they'll just not play I don't think they'll be willing to play this tournament anymore, and that would be a shame because I think it's a fun tournament. I think we were having a lot of fun watching some of those other teams. But if the U.S. goes in there, maybe what are they going to do next year? We're just going to throw, not our best players out there, and not to mention those best players they're not playing that well. I mean, Aaron Judge, everyone's making fun of Aaron Judge already in the comments here about, Mr. Clutch in there, right? Mr. April, or whatever. Maybe he's not Mr. March, that's for sure. So they got a problem on their hands here a little bit there. USA, I don't know. I mean, it was a random draw, but they got a pretty good draw for the tournament, right? You're just not supposed to lose to Italy. And no one's making fun of these players, right? Nobody wants to, make these players go back. What are you going to do? You see some of the players there, right, for Team Italy or what are you going to do? Tell them go back to Italy? And you got some of the players who are just, major leaguers living in the U.S. and have just a sliver of, your parents, your grandparents, whatever it is, got to be at least, have some have nationality, and you can play for that country, and it gives more players an opportunity to play in the tournament here. But not everybody who you see some of the players and you expect them to not be on one of these national teams that doesn't quite make any sense, but they are, and they get a chance. But we're not kicking them out. We're not calling for them to be sent back like we did the ice skater from the United States when she was competing for China there. So, all right, thanks everybody for joining me here on the show. We've got more coming up, more for you coming up as well, with the morning steam show and previews today. NBA, NHL, kind of a light card, but we've got plenty of college basketball. I'll look at the earliest games in each conference here a little bit as our format today. So thank you for joining me here on the show. And I want to hear from you guys. Get ready to go here. We did have some nice winners on the morning steam show yesterday with some of our picks here, including the Horizon Championship game between Detroit and Wright State. We did have the under here on the morning steam. We also had Hofstra there over Monmouth yesterday in the Coastal here on the show. Also, winners here on the morning steam show. I think we had Arizona State on the fly there. Remember, we had a request for it. I went with Arizona State. I think most of the chat was on Baylor in that one, but Arizona State got the money there in that one. So it was an exciting day, and we'll have more excitement here. We also had Gonzaga on the show in that West Coast Conference Championship game, and a lot of people were kind of looking at Santa Clara, but I went with Gonzaga there in that one. And there are more championship games today here on tap, but mostly the big conferences getting underway here today. Also, NBA last night, we did have some winners. You know who we had? We had the Lakers, right? We had the Lakers, and look, we talked about if LeBron and Luka. I stand behind, even though what everybody's saying is true. I stand behind, though, that when LeBron and Luka are together, that they are kind of a high scoring, a high statistical tandem. Very, very good. Also, when Luka is out, LeBron does have a little bit of trouble holding up on his own. But when LeBron is out, Luka does not have trouble holding up on his own. In fact, so the Lakers here, they ended up 3-point underdogs. We were on the Lakers, and we weren't sure, but we were talking about LeBron and his injury, and that he was on the injured list there yesterday. So he was ruled out, and the Lakers did it again. The Lakers are now 10-2 this season straight up without LeBron James in the lineup. Luka had 31 points, 11 boards, and 11 assists. Austin Reeves had 31 points. So when LeBron doesn't play, the Lakers are 10-2. That's just crazy when you think about it. So the Lakers will play the Bulls tomorrow, and LeBron might return home against a weak opponent. But is it time? Do you fade the Lakers when he's in there here with Luka in there? The statistical data says they do play great together. It doesn't also always mean that they win. It just means that those two guys together, maybe it becomes too top heavy of a team with the two guys, and they don't get enough of the other uh, players involved. So, pardon me here this morning. I'm a crazy night there last night. So, all right. We did have some other winners here on the morning steam. Another man, we're having some solid performances here on the morning steam, you guys. We had the Sixers there yesterday minus the points. We had the Heat, of course. We had the Detroit Pistons here on the show. They weren't all winners, but we had the Atlanta Hawks there yesterday, and we had the Portland Trailblazers as well. We had Portland there over the Charlotte Hornets. Hockey wasn't as uh, great, but we did find a few winners here on the morning steam show there yesterday on the ice anyway, with a couple winners. Kings and Bruins game to go under there yesterday, but I was having a hard time clicking on the ice at all there. I hope no one was keeping track of the plays there, but we did have Edmonton and Colorado there last night. All right, say hello to the folks here on the show and get going here. I think we got a lot of the news out. The funny thing was we did have the Charlotte Hornets there. I don't think it was a play here on the show. There. Yeah. Oh no, it was. We did. We had Portland. Yeah, we had Portland on the show, and for Hornets bettors, I guess it was a bad beat. Scoot Henderson did hit a 41-foot buzzer beater from half court. That didn't mean anything for the final result. The Hornets won by 2, but the Blazers covered there last night. So yeah, it's all right. We'll preview tonight's NBA action, and we'll look at the conference tournaments as well here in just a moment. Early action here today, but all right. So also just want to mention, so here's what has to happen for the United States to advance in the World Baseball Classic. Okay, if Italy beats Mexico, then it's USA and Italy advancing. If Mexico wins and they score 5 or more runs, USA and Mexico advance. If Mexico wins, scores 4 runs or fewer, then it's Italy and Mexico, and the USA is eliminated. Now, here's the thing. Today, Mexico is expected to win, and they are favored in this game 275. The total is 7.5. So, if you think about that, right, I guess it's supposed to fall right around the number there. And the way the tiebreaker is in the World Baseball Classic, it's runs allowed there, I guess. And, there is a scenario where, we don't say that they would go in there and, hey, let's screw the U.S., but you could think that, hey, let's go in there and have a low-scoring game, if you will. And, if I'm not saying that Mexico and Italy knows how to correspond and, throw the game to get the U.S. out of there. It does feel like maybe 5 runs isn't out of the question for Mexico tonight, but it's right about where their team total is here, actually. So, look, you could see it, right? They're up 4 runs. You throw some balls, you throw some strikes, a couple swings and misses. Nobody gets hurt, and then USA gets knocked out, right? If it doesn't happen that way. So, there is a current update on the odds. Dominican Republic is now favored to win the tournament at plus 180. USA is still plus 230. They got to get in. Japan plus 250. Venezuela 9-1, and Italy. They're undefeated. They're 22-1, and they had some pretty good players out there, didn't they? All right. Really having some fun here in the morning. Let me say hello to the folks in the chat, and then we'll get started with the show. Thanks for joining me, everybody, here. We got Nuke Worker here today. He's ready to go with this college basketball. Nuke was talking about when the pandemic came and we were looking for sports to bet on. We were bet on KBO, and then the table tennis. Is that where table tennis got its big start, right? I remember watching, I don't know, maybe I'm just a dirty old man. I was watching a table tennis betting with the the women, and well, they were wearing nice clothing. Let's just say they were wearing clothing. It was kind of like clothing you might see when when it's late. Steve Eleptarian is here, and JP Farley as well. And we did say it. We said it. And, JP was right there with it. They were going to put up the big number there last night. You guys are talking about it. There, Nine Legacy says, look, what are you going to do, right? 83 points. You don't know where you're going to land with all those points, right? Pistons due for the blowout there. Good morning to Jordy. Hey, everyone, like this video, subscribe to our channel, Sports Money here on YouTube. Terrell says, no, Terrell, it's true. In fact, because of some of the games that have been on, a couple of games, you got to have this to be here. Yes. Good morning to Robert in there. And good morning to Bar. So hopefully get some nice crowd in here today as a preview. Preview the information, a little bit of news here. I'm seeing some Schefter tweet here about the Bills restructuring the contract of Josh Allen to kind of open up a little more room on the salary cap. The Bills might have something in mind. What could they have in mind? Could they be the ones now interested? Could Max Crosby? He did tweet out after the that he's ready to return. Hey, bummer, didn't work out. And you could also say that, look, he didn't pass his physical, so I don't think he had any control about it. But you could say, look, he was having a little regret because the Raiders went and spent all that money. But unfortunately, what happened is, the Raiders spent all that money because they know they were going to have to spend it on Max. And the Raiders went on this kind of record-setting spending spree. Now they're over the salary cap. They've actually got a big logistical problem, or I don't know what you call it, with the salary cap. They're going to have to find a way to work it out right now with all the free agents that they signed, and the fact that they now have to bring back Max Crosby. Now, Raiders fans want to see Max Crosby on this team. They really think he's a great, he is a great player, and he was really the only bright spot that this team had. But the Raiders did get better. They still might screw it up because they're the Raiders. Okay, there's no guarantees, but everyone's a little bit jealous of what the Raiders ended up doing with all their signings, except for Matt Gay. Who would sign Matt Gay over Carlson? But who knows what they haven't. Maybe they don't want to. The one thing is, if you harken back a little bit to Al Davis, maybe they just don't want to pay for their kicker a little bit. But so the NFL voids that deal, and now the team's over the salary cap, and the Raiders, who had $259 million in salaries with 6 acquisitions on day one of free agency and a spending spree, and Crosby has to go take his $30 million back to the Raiders, so they have to adjust what they're doing. Their other signings yesterday included Devin Lloyd going to Carolina from Jacksonville, Isaiah Pacheco going to the Lions, Romeo Doubs goes to the Patriots. The Patriots have done a nice job here. They also got Ali Vera Tucker from the Jets there as a signing as well. So the Patriots, look, you almost wish they didn't have, at the end of the season. Not complaining about the way that it went down with the Patriots, but maybe they help themselves in the receiving core as well. Don't have as much drama with those guys. So, all right, crew, thanks for joining me here today. We had some great college basketball finals last night too. Gonzaga over Santa Clara. They win their final West Coast Conference game in their program as they'll move on to the Pac-12, but they win the tourney for the 12th time in 14 years. As Gonzaga was down by 4 at halftime, but they went on to win. Remember, Santa Clara, I believe they're in. I believe they will be in here and give a 3-bid league for the West Coast Conference. Horizon League, Wright State beat Detroit 66-63. Detroit led with 10 minutes to go, but the Raiders win the regular season title and the NCAA tournament bid as well by winning the tournament there. First time in 4 years for Wright State. The Horizon never gets a good seed. They're just an also-ran league, so Wright State's pretty good, but this league never gets over a 14 seed, and we'll see if Wright can get a notch or two above that. Hofstra over Monmouth, as I mentioned, is Hofstra's in for the first time in 25 years, and we had him behind freshman Ed Mead, 26 points and 4 assists in that game. Hofstra's won 11 of 12. Siena won the MAAC tournament. I said it would be a low-scoring game. It was not really, 74-64, but Siena out-rebounded them 50-26 in that one. I guess the only other funny thing was that Geno Smith ended up signing with it's a total Jets thing, right? That Geno Smith signs with the Jets. Their bar said it. Total. That's so Jets. That's so Jets. They signed Geno there. All right, we'll root for Geno. Bar's ready to go with our college basketball previews. We're good. I picked the early games to handicap here today between a lot of the conference tournaments here. So let's get rolling with our program, though. And don't forget, you can get more picks from me over at winnable.com/Ramon. I did bring home some winners here yesterday with my premium picks. If you like this show and want to support me here on the show, please consider subscribing for just 41 cents a day. I sound like Sally Struthers trying to save the children, but it's $17.10 a month. If you think this show is worth it to you, then please consider subscribing over at winnable.com/Ramon. I had some nice winners yesterday with my premium picks and my free picks. You can get a free subscription over at winnable.com and just choose the VIP package. I want to say this, and I don't know how to do it. I might have to send the links out. So I'm not very good at I'm pretty good at computing. And I mean, I made a website back in 2001, back in the day. And I know how to do WordPress, but I do struggle on some of the other things with the newfangled stuff. You know, I'm scared to talk to AI. But so I'm trying to incorporate a Discord in there so that the picks go into Discord. Let me know if anybody needs any help. And I don't think anybody's even found their way into the Discord. It might take me a few weeks to get everybody on board, but I've been looking for a place to put some additional information. If we can get all the subscribers all, I don't know, I think I'm down. I used to have over 50 subscribers, and then we're down to like 38 or something. Man, only 38 people like me enough to pay 41 cents a day. But, pardon me. But I'm thinking about putting the context of the show, the thing that I like to run, and look at all the picks from the guys. And I've been trying to say, hey, we need a website, but we're not going to get one here. So maybe we could do it in the Discord. And I'm looking how to incorporate that. I know the new subscribers may get a prompt. I'm not sure how it works, actually, but I think I finally got it turned on right. So we'll see if we can get everybody in there before baseball season starts and get everybody in the Discord. And then if you don't want the notifications, you can put on the notifications for the Discord or go in there to view the picks. I don't even know how it works yet, so I'm working on that. Use the promo code STEAM to save 20% off those premium pick packages. Like I said, I had some winners, good winners. Yesterday, premium pick winner NBA Bulls and Warriors game to go over was my premium pick college baseball. We had some nice winners with Texas on the run line, Kansas State on the run line yesterday. Also, Southern Miss and Ole Miss game to go under. So remember, I give out college baseball plays in there, more plays for you here. So if you want to play some other action, also I had 1-1. Or 1-0-1 in Champions League. Off Champions League plays today. I won with the over, one of the easiest overs there with Atalanta and Bayern Munich. I mean, what was 3-0 before I even started watching all the games there. And I did have the Newcastle game in Barcelona was a push in there. We did have winners over in tennis. I had Zverev over Francis Tiafoe, and I had Talia Gibson over Jasmine Paolini. What's wrong with Paolini so far there? And we also had a winner with Liverpool and Galatasaray under as my VIP selection. We won our VIP college basketball pick as well with Pittsburgh over Stanford. So why not join me over at winnable.com, you guys, and get more picks from me in a timely fashion over there. Okay, really appreciate that. Greg Gibson is here, so I think it's ready in time to start the show today. So, okay. Let's do it. Let's go to the NBA first, where there are 6 games today, and they're all involving at least a few, teams that are involved in the playoff scenarios here. So we're going to go over every game. Thank you for joining me here on the Morning Steam Show. Okay. Starting off here with the Cavaliers are taking on the Orlando Magic, and the Cavs are favored in this one, I think, by 3.5 here over Orlando, and the total 227. Evening action, everything's at night here today. Orlando comes in here with a 4-game winning streak right now, playing well once again. We know they're in the postseason. They're trying to just solidify their spot here, trying to make sure they kind of maybe move up even in the standings. They're currently in 7th place here right now. Just a half a game behind the Heat. Between the 5th seed and the I guess the 10th seed, you can go all the way down to the play-in portion of the tournament. Remember what I always say. I mean, if you're not in the top 7, you really are in for a problem. The tournament is the play-in tournament is totally geared toward the 7 seed. So the 8 seed also has a good chance. I believe you need to be in the top 8 in order to advance, in order to have a chance really in the play-in tournament to get to the regular field. I guess it technically isn't the playoffs, it's a play-in, but the Raptors are ahead of the Heat, or Raptors are tied with the Heat, and the Magic are a half game back of those 2 teams, followed by Philadelphia, Atlanta, and Charlotte. So do have Orlando here as an underdog in this one against Cleveland. Now, you could make an argument that Cleveland is much, much better than Orlando, but Cleveland's position, they're battling with the Knicks right now. It's really going to be the Knicks and Cleveland in the 3 or the 4 spot. These guys are going to be battling it out here, it feels like. I know we're still here in the 16, 17, 18 games left here for most teams right now. So, they could move up in here and pass a team like the Celtics or something, but that's usually not how it works, because you have some wins, you have some losses, and a team could get really, really hot here right now. There's no doubt about it. So you just got to look at it, I think, from that perspective. So we'll see what you think, though, here in this one with Cavaliers and Magic here, with the Cavaliers on the road, but the Magic are playing, very, very well here right now. So did have a little bit more breaking news on the news front here. I know we've heard it before, but the president was just making an announcement, or maybe it was a post that the war would end, quote, end soon. That was just in seeing a bunch of news organizations quoting that. I didn't even see if it was a Truth Social post. It probably was, but that is just breaking sure right now. It going to be just kind of backing out and said mission accomplished, I think, there. But okay, let's talk basketball here anyway, and see what you think. Can Orlando in this one, since they're playing well enough here, and the Cleveland's been good? I mean, they've been very good. They've also gone 5-1 against the spread, and straight up and against the spread against Orlando in the last 5 meetings, actually, between the 2 teams. This season, Cleveland has won both meetings so far, at home and on the road, covered the spread in both. Both teams are pretty crummy at covering the spread, so there's not really a whole lot of positive as far as who might get the money. Orlando's been a little bit hotter here of late. 7-3 against the spread in their last 10, but just 1-4 against the spread at home in their last 5 games. Orlando 4-1 straight up, though, in their last 5. Cleveland's gone under in 4 of their last 5. Orlando's gone under in 4 of their last 5 against Cleveland, but I'm more apt to take a lot of overs here, even in games involving both two teams are going to go to the playoffs. I'm adjusting here right now. Sometimes I come on the show, right, and I'm like, oh, I'm still hanging on to the unders or the over or whatever, and I'm not ready to adjust here just yet. Let me see one game. I think I'm feeling like, and maybe I'm already too late, but I kind of want to think that we're going to start to see more overs. You look at the scores from yesterday, right? There were some high scores, and in these last few weeks, I'm scared that we're going to see a lot of high scores here. So this one may also, even though it's not involving them, it is involving two playoff teams. It just feels like we're going to see some high numbers here. It feels like to me, Cleveland is 18-13 to the over on the road this season. Orlando's not necessarily a big time over team right now. In this series, like I said, is an under series. I said 4 last 5. It's actually 4 straight meetings between the two teams have gone under here right now. So look, Orlando plays well enough. It feels like at home. They've won 4 in a row over Washington, Dallas, Minnesota, and Milwaukee. Cleveland is coming off of a win to Philly, but they've failed to cover in 2 straight games. My algorithm probably says over here that to take Cleveland, but I don't know if we're taking into account some of the factors that are involved. Yes, the Cleveland Cavaliers are involved in their own type of chase here right now with for third place, but I'm going to take the Orlando Magic as a home dog here to get it done against Cleveland and stay in this game. They're playing pretty darn well. They're going to the postseason. They're one of the teams, if you look at those bottom teams of the East that are playing, well, they're moving up. Right. And there's some teams like the Philadelphia 76ers that are moving down here a little bit. I don't want to say the Raptors are just yet, but I have worries about the Raptors because they're not playing well at home. That's really what bothers me. But it's funny because you have all these momentum teams there at the bottom of the Eastern Conference standings, and you could have all the teams have momentum because you're going to play some of the tankathon teams. But, between the Hornets, Hawks, Heat, Magic, all those teams are playing pretty well, and they're at the bottom of the group. They're probably too far to make an impact, so those teams are really just jostling for position. So we just which team is hot, I guess. Which team is hot? Let's go to the chat here and see if you guys agree with me. I'm vetoing the computer here that's telling me to take the Cavs. I'm actually going to go against it here tonight. And Cavs are fine. Don't get me wrong. I mean, hey, we love this Cavaliers team. Everybody knows I'm a big Evan Mobley fan. Met the Mobley brothers when they were just 12 years old because their dad was in the same graduating class as I was, and I was the public address announcer because I wasn't any good at basketball, but I love media and all that stuff. So I was the public address announcer, and the Mobley's brother's dad was the star player on the team. He's now an assistant coach at SMU, but I would say his name, Eric Mobley, on the microphone. And, my school has athletics is big time. Tyrese Proctor's out. Jared Allen is out for the Cavaliers. For the Magic, Franz Wagner, he's still out. Jace Richardson, questionable. And Leaky Black, he's out of this game as well. Here for the Magic, Jonathan Isaac, questionable as well. But I'm going to take Orlando here in this one. Let's go to the chat and see what you have. Terrell says it will be a good game. And Robert's on the over here with this one. I got to think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think all the games will be high-scoring from here on out. All right, and let's see. Greg in there talking a little college ball. Cavs here for Jordy. Orlando Moneyline in there. Where did I see it? For 9 Legacy. The dogs will be barking here. Also, let's see here. Great Big Crypto's liking the Cavs. AEOD talking Detroit basketball. He's back on the bandwagon here a little bit. And Public Enemy on the Cavs. Okay, that's great. Thank you, guys. Let's keep it moving here on the show. Still a long show with college ball, but just 6 games in the NBA. How about the Raptors taking on the Pelicans? And, yeah, you do have, Pelicans. They're not necessarily in the tankathon, in my opinion. I think they played pretty well. They've actually shown a little bit of fortitude. It's been a disappointing season. I think the Pelicans were expecting more, and just can't keep your star healthy. And he's never been healthy, really. But when he's in there, he's good. And so, he's the type of player that kind of does show a little bit of willingness to play hard still down the stretch, even though the team is not going to make the postseason. The Raptors, meanwhile, like I said, they've been better on the road than they have at home this season, but they've lost 3 of 4 here all of a sudden. Jakob Podol, he's questionable. Jackson Davis, I think, is questionable here as well for the Raptors here tonight. Murray Boyles is currently out. McGowan's is out for the Pelicans, but that's really it. Pelicans here right now come in 19 and 13 against the spread at home. Toronto 17 and 14 against the spread on the road, although just 16 and 20 against the spread as a favorite. These two teams did not yet meet this season, so they're going to meet again here after this. So one more meeting between the two teams here. Total in this one at 232 here or so. With these two. In fact, it feels like it's even going up a little bit. Well, we see another over here in this one. We're going to see a bunch of overs here in the final weeks of the season. Let's see how you guys are going to grade this one. Showing some books up to 233.5 here right now. I don't know if this one's going to do it, actually. This one I might temper it a little bit here with the total. I think I want to play it under, but only will you get on my case tomorrow for talking all this up about all these overs, and then if this one doesn't go, because I'm going to go under in this one actually here at 233. I think for me mostly it's going to be based on the fact that Toronto is such an under team as a favorite. 12 and 24 to the under. They've been going under here pretty seriously actually over the last several games. Under in 5 of their last 6. New Orleans over in 4 of their last 5, and they're 19 and 14 to the over at home, but I've actually taken the under in this one with Toronto and New Orleans here. Like I said, maybe New Orleans is a better cover for the most part this season. Yes, Toronto does play a little bit better on the road, but I think New Orleans is showing a little bit of moxie here. They're 6-3 straight up in their last 9. They've covered 7 of their last 9. They're at home, and they've gone 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 at home. Toronto's just 3-7 in their last 10 games against the spread against New Orleans, and they've lost 5 of their last 7 and gone 1-4 against the spread in their last 5. So it's not a great situation, it feels like, even for the Toronto Raptors here. Let's see what you have in the chat with this game. And hey, every game has a little bit of intrigue here tonight. That's what we like. Public Enemy's on the under here with me. Phew, I'm glad someone's doing the under. And let's see here. Pelicans here for NYC Bar. And Greg says, the Raptors are due for a win, no doubt about it, Greg. I mean, a little bit of a slip up here with losses in 3 of the last 4 games, and they only win in that time. The only wins that they're getting here a little bit are to Dallas and Washington. So, they're only beating some weak sisters here, it feels like right now. Hey, there's some steam coming in on DePaul right now. We got to have some steam here on the show, right? DePaul taking the steam against Georgetown. The steam came in on the under earlier. DePaul was a 1-point favorite, but DePaul's up to 2 here, 2.5 against Georgetown tonight. Big East game at Madison Square Garden. First round action there between Georgetown and DePaul. Back in the day, that was actually an interesting meeting when you'd have Coach Meyer and Coach Thompson. That's how old I am. All right, here we go with Greg says take the Pelicans here. JP Farley's on the under. Robert's going to take the Pels as well. Greg says could be a buzzer beater here tonight. Full game under 4-9 Legacy. We move on. Let's go to the Knicks and the Jazz. Now we do have a tankathon game here. A little bit of steam in the background. We got some tournament steam here with San Jose State in their tournament game here today against Boise State. this one in the Mountain West here at Thomas and Mack in Las Vegas. San Jose State was getting 15.5. It's down to looks like 14 here right now as San Jose State is taking the steam against Boise State here on the morning steam show. Okay. And so let's talk about this one here. Now, this one's a little bit of tankathon action here, obviously, with the Knicks a big favorite against the Utah Jazz. Now, this one, right, looks like one of those name your total, name your high total. It feels like with these two, I would think, given the circumstances, I think we could see some points between these clubs here coming into this one. Especially you got Utah, 23-10 to the over at home. Now the Knicks, they're kind of a 50-50 proposition when it comes to the total this year. But again, as I think we get down here later in the season here, we're going to see more overs here. The trends would kind of say under for the most part. Even with Utah right now has gone under in 4 of their last 6, and the series has gone under in 9 of 12 over the last 6 years. But again, I just think here with Utah, 23-10 to the over at home, 33-24 to the over as a dog, that might be the way to look at it. The total is the spread is getting higher and higher here as people want to play the tankathon, I think, here with us, here with the Knicks favored by 14 in this one. And look, Utah's covered it all. They've had a few covers at home here. They covered against Golden State. They beat Golden State, remember, the other night, 19-16. They also covered against Philly on the road. But that was an awkward game. No Embiid, I think, in that game, right? And they beat Washington recently. Let's see here. We got a little more steam right now. Arizona State and Iowa State here. Some steam to the under in this Big 12 game here. This is our early start game. So this one, our previews here. Arizona State and Iowa State was 149.5. Going to go down to 147 here. I'm going to like that. I might pivot to the side since this one's coming in with a steam play, and kind of like that move. Arizona State and Iowa State steam to the under right now here on the Morning Steam Show. Okay, so for the Knicks here, now they've lost back-to-back games on the road to the Clippers and the Lakers. In fact, this is the 4th straight game here now on the road for the Knicks. They've been on the road a little bit here of late, and they're just 14-20 against the spread on the road. Now, like I said, we are in the tankathon. There's no reason why the Knicks couldn't put one down and over on the Jazz. It's just a matter of what Jazz team might be coming into play. Josh Hart is questionable here right now. Mitch Robb, he is probable. Jazz have injuries. Konkar, questionable. George, questionable. Collier, questionable. Ace Bailey, questionable. Markkanen still out here right now. So we do have plenty of issues here. New Mexico State and Sam Houston. We're having some steam to the under here right now in that Conference USA tournament game. I'm glad to see that Conference USA doesn't play 2 games at once in the same gym anymore. This one in Huntsville, Alabama. Total here, steam to the under. Man, it was 156.5. We're all the way down to 153 here, it looks like, with New Mexico State and Sam Houston right now. This one's moving lower here to 153 at Circa. All right, but we're talking action here with these two. We can get your picks in here if you want between the Knicks and the Jazz. These two teams did play their other meetings so far. The Knicks did beat them 146-112. That was back in December. So what's going to happen here in this one, right? You think about it? I'll just take the over here with these two. I'm a little bit worried about this tankathon game. So give me the over here in this one between the Knicks and Utah. It really hasn't gone up that much. And I think 229 is doable here. It opened higher, so it's actually gone lower here right now. That kind of worries me a little bit just because of the direct, the move itself. But I think it's going over because of what we're seeing in some of these games. Let's see what you guys have here in this one. All right, it's going to be Robert on the Knicks here. He'll take the Knicks in the Tankathon. Public Enemy's going to do it as well. Maybe I should do it. Farley's on the over. AOD says everyone's going to be on the Knicks. Yeah, I'm sure they are. I kind of want to be too, but under here for VAR. He likes the under. Okay. And Greg says because after those losses, that's going to motivate them to blow somebody out here that they can handle. Knicks in the over for Greg. Terrell says the Knicks' last win was many years ago against this Utah. What is he saying here? Knicks' last win at Utah. Gotcha. Oh, wow. Look at that. That's big time. Let me check the trends here for sure with these two teams, given that. The Knicks are 5-2 against the spread against Utah, but not in Utah where they've had problems. Most of their coverage has come at home. The Knicks are 5-2 against the spread in their last 7. They've won 13 of their last 20. Utah is just 2-8 straight up in their last 10, but they are 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games overall. Like I said, these teams actually trend under, but I'm going to go over. The Knicks have gone under in 7 of its their last 10 and 9 of the last 12 meetings between the two teams have gone under, and Utah has gone under in 4 of their last 6. Jordy's on the Knicks on the money line. All right. All right, and we're going to go next up here right now. Take a look at the Knicks are only minus 950 on the money line after all. Are you going to go 950 to win 100, Jordy, or 95 to win 10, or 475 to win 50? Let me know about that. Okay, let's go next up to the Hornets taking on the Sacramento Kings. Let me get that one. The Hornets. The Hornets. The Hornets. Is that, I think, what they call them there down south? Hornets. Oh, boy, that's embarrassing. Okay, so another tankathon game here with the Hornets taking on the Kings. Now, I think this is a tankathon game that I can get behind, even though we have supported the Kings a little bit in some of these tankathon games. Remember, they've won two in a row here, actually, right now, with wins over Indiana and Chicago. So we had them there against the Bulls, but I think this one qualifies more for me as a tankathon game, and I am going to take the Charlotte Hornets in this one. Yeah, Charlotte's failed to cover in 3 straight. They have losses to Phoenix and Miami here. They did bounce back to beat Portland on the road last time out, 103-101. Did not cover in that game, but still, Charlotte 22-13 against the spread on the road, 13-9 against the spread as a favorite here. They've been one of the best spread teams in the country, 41-25 this season. Meanwhile, Sacramento 14-19 against the spread at home, 23-36 against the spread as a dog. We know that they are a dog. Talking about the Sacramento Kings, they have covered a few here, but still have lost 9 of their last 11 at home, 16 of their last 20 overall. Charlotte is 7-2 straight up in their last 9, 13-4 straight up in their last 17. They are just 2-4 against the spread their last 6 games against the Sacramento Kings. But let's see what you think here in this one. I'm taking the Hornets. I'm taking this tankathon game here for sure. I'm going with the Charlotte Hornets. See what you guys have here. Greg says Utah doesn't stand a chance in that Knicks game. And Terrell says he'll be here to talk about the Jazz covering those 14 points. And Greg has this one barely there for Charlotte, but I think he likes Charlotte. He likes the under. I think I do too, even though I'm, a little bit reluctant with that total, but I think it is an under, especially with these two teams. I mean, Charlotte's been a big-time under, 25-41 to the under, although most of the time it is in the roll at home. And also when they're a dog, they kind of go over a little bit more, but 25-41 to the under overall. Sacramento, meanwhile, 27-32 to the under as an underdog. here. So I'm going to take the Hornets here minus 12.5 in this one. All right, and let's see here. Terrell says the Kings will cover because Charlotte's been on the road here. A little bit of fatigue here for Charlotte right now. Like I said, on their third straight road game here. And Greg says Charlotte will get the win there. All right, let's keep it moving here right now in the NBA because I think we want to get to college ball, don't we? Rockets and Nuggets here today. All these games are good, though, right? Here you go with the Rockets and the Nuggets. I think this one is more, look, it does feel like an important game here with two top, contending teams here in the standings for sure. You got the Rockets leading that group here, that group of 5 teams or so: Rockets, Lakers, Timberwolves, Nuggets, and Suns in that order. The Lakers kind of passed the Timberwolves there with that win last night with the tiebreaker to move into the 4th spot. I talk about how important the top 4 spots are when it comes to the postseason because you got to get that first series home court advantage at least. But you do have the Nuggets here favored by 5.5. Total here, let me see, it might be a little bit higher here right now, 230.5. It's definitely gone up a little bit, and I do think, even though this is contending teams, if you will, they're battling for the spots here. Like we said, not only are the Rockets ahead of the group here, but the Nuggets are in that group, right? They're in 6th place. They're technically just a game and a half behind. But I just think those teams know they're jostling for the position. I don't mean it makes less for motivation. I mean, they still want to win, but I think this one gets a little loose. I think we're going to see a high-scoring game actually here between these two teams. But I think I'm just going to take the Nuggets here and lay the points in this one against Houston. Nuggets have lost 2 in a row. I think they'll be motivated enough to win here against Houston. Nuggets don't necessarily have a great spread record as a home favorite, but they are 36-29 against the spread this year. Rockets, even though they are 5-2 ATS as an underdog, I will note that, but I'm going to take the Nuggets here minus 5.5. Rockets did win the last meeting here in Denver, 115-101 back in December. Denver has kind of owned the series against them. Overall, Houston just 1-4 ATS in their last 5 against Denver. Houston 2-4 ATS in their last 6 overall. Denver's lost 4 of 6. Denver's gone over in 13 of their last 18. 4 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams have gone over. Denver's been going under at home in 5 of their last 6. But I just have this one as a game where we're going to see the probably the up tempo here, even though these two teams are jockeying for position. As I said, Denver is 28-14 to the over as a favorite this year. So I think this one may be an over, but I'm going to take the Nuggets here as my pick on the show. And let's see. Nuggets to smack 'em, says AOD. And Terrell says a back-to-back at Denver, never easy here following the game there for the Houston Rockets. Lost to Toronto. Maybe they were looking ahead there. Or not lost to Toronto, beating Toronto, 113-199. I was just on tilt because I had Toronto in that game. Bad call. All right, let's see here. JP is on Denver here. And Greg says a little bit of revenge from that last game. Robert's on Denver as well. And Andrew K said USA by mercy rule. Last night he's giving himself a hard time there. Oh, man. It would have been funny if Italy would have won by the mercy rule, right? That's okay, Andrew. Let's make fun of US. Let's make fun of Team USA. All right, Jordy has a Denver money line and double for Jokic. Robert's on the over here, And so Greg says a lot of Houston games do go under. Yeah, they're more of an under team for sure. I would say, though, that of late they're trending over, like I said, and on the road they do go over more. They're at home they are 10 and 22 to the under. On the road they're 18 over and 16 under. All right, I'm going to take the Nuggets in that one. All right, let's go to the final game in the NBA here with the Timberwolves and the Clippers. The Timberwolves are playing a little. They just played the Lakers there. They've lost 2 straight. Have Minnesota right now. Losses to Orlando and to the Lakers last night, 120 to 106. So how do you think that's going to affect them here in this matchup? Nuggets are 13 and 18 against the spread on the road. We know they've been actually a pretty bad cover team this season, although they are 7 and 5 to the good ATS as an underdog. Clippers, meanwhile, playing pretty well still. They've won 5 of their last 6. They've covered 6 of their last 7 overall. Minnesota's won 8 of 11, but covered just 2 of their last 9. So Minnesota usually wins and they don't cover, but they're usually a favorite. Minnesota just 1 and 5 against the spread in their last 6 games against the Clippers. Clippers have gone over in 5 of 6. 6 straight meetings between these two teams have gone under, but I think and I'm about the Clippers unders. I'm about the Clippers defense. This feels like an important game, but I also feel like it might not be a game where we get the full defensive effort, especially from Clippers going over in 5 of their last 6. Minnesota has gone under in 6 straight games, so maybe there is something to that. The last game they played, there was only 182 points scored. Here a couple of weeks ago when they played here in LA, and Minnesota won at 94 to 88 as an 8.5 point favorite. They didn't get the money. They played earlier in the month in Minnesota, and the Clippers won at 115 to 96 in another under. And the meeting back in December was an under as well. So all 3 meetings did go under this year, but oh man, I kind of thought maybe the over would be the call, but let me hear from you. I could be talked out of it, or maybe I should just go with, I think the Clippers here. That's what I think I'm going to do, actually. I want to take the Clippers here on this one against Minnesota. The Clippers continue to play effectively here right now, and I guess if they win, it'd be more likely to go under. I'm just so reluctant here, but give me the Clippers in this one. I'm going to continue to look at it. I know I'm supposed to go under, and I probably will, but it's one of those where I look at the team, looking at the game, and I'm like, this one may be, goes to the over because of what we're seeing with these late season teams. But you can't deny that sometimes the Clippers do force you to go under, but they're an over team for the most part, especially of late. Minnesota's a team that's actually trending under. Under here of late. And obviously, like I said, the season series is a dead under here over the last 5 meetings, all unders. So maybe that is what I'm supposed to do. I'll take the Clippers here to cover winning. This one is actually 1.5 right now at most spots, maybe 2, 227.5. Give me the clip joint. Okay. You can't even say, no one even knows clip joint anymore, right? Because no one, you don't clip your joints anymore, do you? No one. All right. That's it for the NBA. Let me get your picks here on this last one. Then we'll move to college basketball here. And, Barley's on the Clippers. Terrell says Minnesota money line. The Wolves aren't going to get swept by the LA teams, he says. Greg says the LA teams will beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. Clippers are rested. We'll take care of business. Big Crypto says he likes the Clippers and the under. Thanks, everybody. Great job, Fernando. Hey, there's Fernando, everybody. There he is. Dimitri Mamo on the Clippers. I mentioned with Fernando here, we've got, like I said, a big day of Champions League action. I'm going to be coming back at it in the Champions League after going 1-0-1 in my premium picks there yesterday. Today's games, Arsenal and Leverkusen's a standalone, followed by Man City and Real Madrid, Chelsea and PSG, and then Sporting against Bodo Glimt. Clippers money line for 9 legacy. And Greg said Minnesota got whipped yesterday, and they should be drained. Okay. All right. By the way, we will have VB MMA picks today. I believe the showtime, I know we always have a trouble getting it down perfectly. We relies on the guest, but this week I believe we'll have Adam Martin as the guest here. You might notice when you watch the MMA telecast and they put those little tweets up during the when the next round starts, as several MMA experts tweet out some comments, that you'll see Adam Martin's name practically in every fight there, and he gets his quotes on the screen. He is our guest today. He gets his quotes right on the screen there during the events, so that should be fun. I have Adam Martin here today previewing the action at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific time, leading right into Mikey Money here and pre-gaming. So I think that'll be perfect today. I think that's what we have, the way we have it planned here today. Okay. Hey, there's a little bit of steam coming in right now in the Big East let's see here, in the Big Ten. Between Rutgers and Minnesota. Some steam to the over in this one between Rutgers and Minnesota. It was 135. We're up to 136.5 here right now between Rutgers and Minnesota. Steam to the over here in this one. All right, let's get it going here. We're going to stay here. Greg says, hey, we're just an hour away, Ramon. Let's go. Robert McCormick likes Bodo Glimt today. And Fernando says, I haven't even looked at the Champions League card. Ramon, don't put me on the spot. Let's go to our games today. First, we'll look at the championship games, okay? And then we'll go into some other games. Let's look at the championship games that are out there today in college basketball. We'll start with the earliest one and then move into the other games, if you will. Okay? So that means we'll start with, man, what a game last night, huh? Could you believe that game last night? The triple overtime win for McNeese State on their home court over Rio Grande Valley. Yeah, I was on Rio Grande Valley. Yeah, I was on the under. Still went under after that first overtime, but they couldn't hold on to that after 3 overtimes. But what a game. McNeese got the win. Rio Grande Valley had plenty of chances, but McNeese won at home for the 28th straight time. We talk about some of the tournaments that have the home field. They play the seeded team gets to be the home team. This one's just assigned to be in Lake Charles, so it is on McNeese's home court here. So they do have that advantage built in, but these are the top 2 teams in the Southland Conference here, as McNeese State. Maybe they are. It says that McNeese State versus Stephen F. Austin. Oh, I only did it like that because technically that is right. I mean, you put the higher seeded team on the first, but it really is Stephen F. Austin at McNeese State. And McNeese State may be favored just because they're at home here in this one, because Stephen F. Austin has played well. And then, of course, McNeese played triple overtime last night. And you know what Greg Gibson's going to say about that. Now, McNeese is, supposedly the better team this season. Look, they've been, 2-time defending champions of this tournament. McNeese has been, I believe, public darlings over the last few years, right? The way that, first when they had Coach Will Wade in there before he went over to NC State, and McNeese has still held this program together this season. But SFA was actually the number 1 seed. That's why they got the second listing here. But SFA's won 3 in a row here, including tournament games over Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Remember, they got to play all the way into the semifinals, as did McNeese, but McNeese beat that Rio Grande Valley team last night 84-80. It's an 8-point favorite. I had Rio Grande Valley plus the points. McNeese has been overrated all season because they're such a public darling. I don't want to say totally, overrated because really it's kind of one of those things where you got to be a basketball fan to know that this team is so good. But bettors know better, and that's why they're 4-10 against the spread on the road, 13-16 against the spread overall. Despite a terrific 27-5 record, they're not a profitable team. Stephen F. Austin, meanwhile, because they're not McNeese State, are kind of been overlooked. They're 28-4 here, and they're also 22-8 against the spread. So they are, a great money-making team. They're also 4-1 against the spread as an underdog here. And, who they were an underdog to was McNeese State. The teams played back in February, and Stephen F. Austin was a 2.5-point dog, and they won at home 67-60. They also covered the spread at McNeese back in January as a 10.5-point dog and a 66-64 win. So, yeah, Stephen F. Austin, they're going to be the road team here. Actually, technically the home. They'll probably wear, I don't know if they wear the whites, I don't know, but nonetheless, they are the higher seeded team here. Now the steam actually did come in on McNeese State here. Didn't affect the spread too much. Let me see though. This actually might not be the spread here right now. It's McNeese by 2 or 2.5 right now because the steam came in on McNeese to drive them up here to 2.5. The total here is down to 134. Oh man, and judging from what I saw yesterday in that game, I mean, like I said, it was going under big time, and you do have two under teams here for sure. You've got a McNeese team that is 11-15 to the under as a favorite. Stephen F. Austin 1-4 to the under as a dog, 11-18 to the under this season, and I would think from what we've seen in this tournament that it might be setting up here to me for another under between McNeese and Stephen F. Austin, even though, man, I'm kind of worried here right now because this number has gone down here from 137.5 down to 134 here in this one. So let's see, though, here what you think in this one between Stephen F. Austin and McNeese. I'm just going to go with the under here. I was thinking about a premium for it, but I'm going to have to move it to show status here because of the move. Give me the under in this one with McNeese. That's how it works, you guys. It's a premium, and then if kind of the line gets away, we use it as our show pick because, it's not as strong now. All right, let's see what we got here from you guys in the chat. All right, let's see here. Robert McCormick, he likes Stephen F. Austin, Stone Cold Stephen F. Austin. I thought Stephen F. Austin was the $6 million man. Anybody? Let's see here. Greg Gibson here says the wrong team's favored. He likes Stephen F. Austin. Also here, McNeese for VAR, but Stephen F. Austin for Public Enemy. And maybe they both could be drained, right? I mean, look, this fits the narrative. Public Enemy says he likes the under as well. Greg says they both could be exhausted because of what happened there yesterday. Now, McNeese, their game did not go overtime, but they had to work. I mean, Stephen F. Austin, their game did not go overtime, but they had to be exhausted. But it was definitely a tough game over Texas A&M Corpus Christi, just 60-58 in that game. That's 118 points. Even I can figure that out, right? And looking at the McNeese game against Rio Grande Valley, like I said, it went to double overtime, so it did go over, but the score at the end of regulation was only 116 points in that game. Before the overtime, and then still even after that, like I said, it was still going under after the first overtime. I think it was at 134. So I'm going to take though the under here in this championship game. I'm going to go with Public Enemy here. Okay, and that one's at 5 Eastern and 2 Pacific time. There in that one on ESPN2. So you get a championship game at the 5 o'clock Eastern hour. Okay, let's keep it moving here. Got another championship game coming up, and it's another home team. In fact, now I think I messed up because I'm supposed to maybe put at but it is at Lehigh here in the Patriot League. But I get into a habit there. First couple of days, I should put versus, and I put at, and then now I probably should put at because they are at, but it's versus. All right. Boston U here taking on Lehigh. Yeah, Boston U, both teams coming in here 17 and 16. Lehigh's a little bit hotter here right now as we head to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania for this one. Lehigh with a winning streak coming in right now, and they've won tournament games here over Holy Colgate, Holy Cross and Colgate. Remember, these guys had like a little interval in between on their tournament here because of the home court situation here. They don't play, like I said, in a neutral setting at all. This one's at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific time in this one, but let's see how you've got it here with Boston U and Lehigh. Boston U comes in off of wins over Navy and American. They've covered 4 in a row, but Lehigh's been a solid cover here as well. They're winning and covering. Now, they did not cover in the game against Holy Cross. They won by 3, and they were favored by 4.5. So didn't quite work out in that one, but still you got the two of the top 4 seeds here. There was an upset here in this event. Let me see if I can't peek at it here. In the Patriot League here. I think I have it up here. Oh, maybe I don't. All right. Anyway, we do know that for these two teams right now, you got a Boston University team that's been scorching here, winning and covering a lot of games of late. They are 10-7 against the spread on the road, 19-13 overall. This season is BU. They've won 9 of their last 10. They've also won 8 of the last 12 meetings here against Lehigh overall. Boston U has covered 9 of their last 10 games overall, but Lehigh's won 8 in a row. At home. Remember, they're at home. They've won 8 in a row here right now. Also, they've won 5 straight. Lehigh's gone under in 4 of their last 6. BU has gone under in 4 of their last 6 games. These two teams aren't necessarily under teams. BU is 12-6 to the over on the road, and Lehigh's 13-7 to the over as an underdog here. So these are two teams that definitely trend over right now. But again, you get the championship game format at home. It feels it's a little stiff, doesn't it, when you get into the scenario here? Maybe they will be good enough to go over after all. The first meeting between these two teams did go over when they played at BU, but Lehigh won and covered them both. Lehigh won at BU 93-91 as a 4.5-point dog, and they also won at home 70-67 as a 1.5-point dog. Here they are, a dog again to BU right now. Is it still 2? Let me check it. 2 pretty much everywhere. Total 138 here in this one. I got to go under in a championship game setting. I am going under with Boston U and Lehigh in this one tonight. Let's see what the chat has here, if anything. Greg Gibson, Lehigh and the under. Greg says Lehigh is underrated. He thinks they're pretty good. Robert likes Lehigh here. I mean, they're getting the points. They're at home. They're a solid team here. 12-4 against the spread at home this season for Lehigh. It just so happens, though, like I said, Boston U comes in here. Like I said, pretty hot. They were the number 4 seed coming in, but they've obviously made it work here right now in getting to the championship game. Because remember, they beat Navy on that last second shot, 73-72 at Navy. At number 1, Navy would have been the host of this game for sure. Instead, they blew it and ended up losing to BU here. So BU is kind of the Cinderella story, if you will. All right, that's it maybe for that one. Hello to, thank you, Andrew K. I can barely keep up right now, Andrew. I got to be honest with you. It's tournament time here. the conference we think of March Madness, right? We think of the tournament as being March Madness, and for some people this is kind of the March Madness. This is tougher than the regular. On March Madness, when you deal with the 16 games per day, you know what you got. They're all set out in format. You got 16 on Thursday, you got 16 on Friday. Here you got one league is in the finals, one league's in the first round, you got mid-majors playing. I know it's not a Saturday necessarily, but remember, in Saturday you kind of pick and choose. Even I get lost on a Saturday, just after a while. If I get a little flustered if I start losing some games on a Saturday. I mean, I'm supposed to be your capper here, and sometimes I just like, oh no, a bad start to the day. And then we do the UFC stream, and I get all mad watching my basketball if it's not doing good. Okay. Let's keep it moving here right now. We got one more championship game tonight. It's going to be between Idaho and Montana. How did we end up here with Idaho and Montana? What happened in the Big Sky, huh? This one's in Boise here, not a home court necessarily, although it's in Idaho here. But got Idaho on the road here, taking on the Montana Grizz, and Idaho's favored here by 2.5. The total, I think, is down to 145.5. Let me update it here. Oh, it's even 144 here right now. Did I miss the Steam on this one? Let me refresh the Steam here. Maybe it wasn't, but the game has definitely moved here a little bit. I'm going to call it 2.5 and 144 here for the Idaho Vandals in this one against the Montana Grizz. All right, there we go. Idaho comes in here the 7 seed. This championship game, what happened there? Like I said, in the Big Sky here with Idaho comes in the 7 seed with wins here over Sac State, Montana State, Eastern Washington. Great run for Idaho here with Gonzalez, Newberry, and Mitchell leading the way. Pretty decent offensive team are the Vandals, at least at this level. They've won and covered four straight over those teams. They've covered them all, mostly because they were a favorite in these last 3. Actually, funny that they'd be kind of favored here in some of these games, despite the fact that they were the number 7 seed. I think that is an indicator of maybe they were underrated. For Montana here, they've won 2 straight coming in, victories over Northern Colorado and, of course, Portland State. So that was a big one. The big one there for Montana as they beat them yesterday, 75-72 as a 3.5-point dog. They also were a dog against the Northern Colorado Bears. So, hey, good on Montana. We've seen them pull off here a little bit with some of these victories here in the past in this tournament. It's been really good for Montana here pretty much throughout the years. It feels like they've always kind of ended up sometimes in this situation and made their way to the NCAA tournament. Let's see what you got here with these two right now with Montana. Here taking on Idaho as a dog, and they do it here against this Idaho team. For Montana here, they come in with a record of 8-5 against the spread as an underdog. Idaho is 12-9 against the spread as a favorite. And I don't know. I always trust this Montana team, man. I'm just a big Grizz fan. Montana always wins this matchup between these two teams. They won both meetings this season. They won at home 73-68. They were a 1.5-point dog, and they won at Idaho 76-73 as a 4.5-point dog. Now there was a time when Montana was a better team and they weren't covering a big spread against these guys, but still, in general, they have won this game more often than not. In fact, Montana's won 9 straight meetings against the Idaho Vandals when these two teams have played and gone 6-1-2 against the spread in those 9 games. So, I'm on my Montana Grizz here. Throughout the years, because I did so many alumni functions, hosting teams at the bar, I've ended up with a lot of gear from different teams. And Montana just happens to be the team that I ended up with a lot of gear in there. And a former roommate of mine was a running back at Montana who made it to the NFL and is currently an assistant coach there. Um, Man, it was too bad for this kid. I say kid, he was a little younger than me, but he was playing on Monday Night Football, and yeah, he went to Montana, but he made it to the NFL. And opening kickoff of the season, uh, uh, and he wrecked his knee. First opening kickoff of the season, he wrecked his knee. He did make it back eventually, but he was playing with the Ravens and wrecked his knee and made it back, but really couldn't get going in the NFL. And because of that, situation like that. St. Bonaventure and LaSalle, some steam to the over here right now with St. Bonaventure and LaSalle. This is the early game, guys. You're looking for some information there on some, and we're going to talk about it here. Steam to the over here right now with Bonaventure and LaSalle. We're going to get to some of these early starts. I'm going to preview early games with you today because you guys love those early starts here. That's why we're up early on the morning steam. Steam to the over here. It was 144 up to 145 and a half or 146. We'll talk about it in just a moment there with this one. But right now here, I'm taking Montana. You know I am. I'm all about the Grizz. Give me Montana here. Plus the points against Idaho. 6 straight meetings between these two teams have gone under. I'm not saying this isn't my premium, but watch out. Montana has gone over, though, in 4 of their last 6 games, but this has been an under series here. Usually it is a little bit higher of a total, actually, between these two. The average total between these two teams is 150. When they've in the last 5 meetings they've played anyway, and this one's the lowest total that it's been in all of these few games between these two teams. We have a championship game and a championship atmosphere, and I'm sure it's going to be pretty hard to get it going here with these two. Idaho is 8-13 to the under as a favorite. Montana trends a little bit over, but give me Montana here. Give me the Grizz in this one. Idaho has won and covered 6 of their last 7 games, not to slight them here. Okay, here we go. Robert's on Montana here. And Dimitri says, I've been rolling with the Grizz. Greg says, Montana in a surprise win. Look at AOD. All right. And Public Enemies on Montana here as well. So everybody's liking Montana here. So do I. I like Montana over Idaho. Let's go Grizz. And wish I could wear my Grizz stuff. I think it's in storage in San Diego, like all of my good sports clothes. Man, I could wear some great jerseys and uniforms if I wouldn't have moved to Las Vegas in haste and put everything in storage for the last 4 years. What a waste of I'm going to go here. I tried to go last year and I broke down. Okay, rental car. All right, here we go. Let's go to the other games right now. Let's cover some more games here in conference tournament play for the next few minutes. We'll try to go right into the night. We'll go right into the first game. What do you think about that? But first of all, we'll preview that first game, though, with St. Bonaventure and LaSalle. We just talked about it. Now I got to adjust it because that steam came in. St. Bonaventure here, a 5-point favorite. Let me see. The total we know is moved here right now. Oh, it's up to 146 even. And the spread is 6. In fact, it might even be 6.5 here for St. Bonaventure. But I don't know. What do you think? I mean, let me move the total up. I mean, I think it is going to be an over game today, but I'm not so sure. Maybe I'll run it by the chat here and see what the chat all-stars think here right now with Bonaventure. They opened up close to 4.5. Now they're up to 6.5. Bonaventure here. I mean, remember, this is they've come in here struggling right now. 3 straight losses. I believe they fired the coach, right? I mean, he's out of here after this year. And We know they've got their situation with Woj as a general manager. This has been a failure for St. Bonaventure, I think, this season. They're just 10-20 against the spread overall. What makes them so special that they can cover as a favorite here? That's a terrible record. 6-14 against the spread as a favorite for LaSalle. They're got some nice numbers here, or not mediocre, but comparatively. They're a 50-50 team when covering the spread. These two teams already met twice this season, or no, just once this season. Bonaventure lost 78-74 at LaSalle. LaSalle was a dog in that game. So let's see what you have here, but it does seem kind of peculiar. I mean, what is Bonaventure going to turn it around here all of a sudden and beat this LaSalle team? At least LaSalle has some wins here recently. They beat Fordham. They did lose to St. Joe's last time out, kind of got blowed out of that one, but they covered against Davidson and also beat URI here recently. So let's see what you have in this one between St. Bonaventure and LaSalle. I don't want Bonaventure here right now. Are they really that much better? They've failed to cover 6 straight meetings against LaSalle. Bonaventure's lost 6 of 7, gone 1-6 against the spread. Their last 7 coming in. Now LaSalle is 2-9 straight up in their last 11 games, but they've covered 5 of the last 7. 7 of the last 8 meetings between these two teams have gone over. LaSalle's gone over in 4 of 5, although Bonaventure's gone under in 6 of 9. I got to take LaSalle here in this one, plus the points. Again, St. Bonaventure. Give me the Explorers in this one. Robert's on the under here, and Josh says, what about Iga today in the tennis there? Josh, I think we're down to the I'll see if I can give out. I've got some premiums in tennis here today. We got the 8 matches today, but Iga against Muchova, and does look like a discount, but she's also not really totally playing up to her standards here. Usually she does. We think of her as a, clay court and grass court player, but she does fare well in the North America hard courts, which is interesting, but she's less than a $2 favorite today. There are some great matches today at Indian Wells as we kind of wear it down here currently with these matchups. Hijikata against Nori, Pegula and Bencic, Medvedev and Michelson, Alcaraz and Rude. Everybody's waiting for that one. Siniakova and Svitolina. Sony Cartel with a win there yesterday. She'll take on Rybakina, and then Djokovic and Draper wrap it up tonight at Indian Wells. Thank you, too. Great comments there from Josh. Talking a little tennis. All right, Greg says loves LaSalle plus the points, and James likes the under here in this one. The only thing that tempers it a little bit, I kind of want to go over. We are in a tournament here, and it is a high number, but again, 6 straight overs between these two. All right. Hey, there's Scott Kobe. He loves a matchup between Joker and Draper. And look, it's a closely rated matchup. I mean, the thing about Joker, he still has heart. He's still in it to win it. It's always a little bit tougher, but you get some good betting propositions there a little bit too. All right, let's keep them going here right now. I'm looking at some information about the World Baseball Classic there. And, like I said, DeRosa really took a lot of heat there, not for really not understanding. And really that was a bad setup there in that interview, because it really was the interviewer that kind of didn't know the rules there. And I don't know if DeRosa was just going through the motions in the interview, or maybe he was taking it for granted that they would beat Mexico and not really have a problem. And he was saying, we still want to go out there and win, even though we know we're in the next round. That was what the controversy was, with his comments. Okay, let's keep it moving here right now. Oops, with our let me see here, Scott, Iga, and Joker in a parlay. All right, we're taking one game per league here, so let's go to the next early game start with Pitt taking on North Carolina State in the ACC. And you got some, I will be showing some big spreads. I know you know this from the show that usually when I'm previewing the college basketball, I don't pick a lot of blowouts. When we do those previews, right? Like I said, sometimes we skip some top teams because they were so favored heavily. But I'm just going over the early games here, so you're going to see some different spreads today. NC State by 8.5 here, it looks like right now over the Pittsburgh Panthers. Might even be 9 here at some spots, and maybe even 9.5 at some other spots. So we've got to put 9 at least. That's definitely North Carolina State a little bit on the move here in this one. But North Carolina State's lost 4 in a row right now. Pitt's won 2 in a row. Come on, really? NC State is the 7 seed coming into this one. And look, they haven't been a great cover this season, really, and there haven't been a great cover of late. Like I said, they're fading here a little bit, it feels like, down the stretch. North Carolina State is just 1-6 straight up and 1-8 against the spread in their last 9 games. Pitt's covered 6 in a row. What are we doing here? Now, one of them may have been a push. They played Stanford. They were favored by 8. Some people got the win. Some people got the push. I get it. Doesn't matter, though. Pitt's been the more solid cover here of late. Both teams are mediocre against the spread this season. As far as the total is concerned, though, NC State 19-12 to the over here. They're also 14-10 to the over as a favorite. They've gone over in 10 of their last 13 games coming in. Pitt has lost 14 of the last 18 meetings between these two, but covered 5 of the last 7 right now. And like I said, I mean, of course they have, especially when they've been, covering the spread, as I like to say. Pittsburgh's been the solid cover here with 6 straight covers right now, despite the fact that they're 6-13 in their last 19 games overall. They faded kind of after a decent start to the season before conference play came up, but at 9 points, I mean, come on. These two teams, like I say, they trend over a little bit here, but I think I want to take Pittsburgh +9. I mean, come on. They've covered 6 in a row. North Carolina State's 1-8 against the spread. Maybe this will be the one for North Carolina State, but I'm not buying it. I'll take Pitt. I'm square. I see the spread records, and that's good enough for me. Give me Pitt here. This isn't being played in Charlotte, by the way, so maybe a little bit of closer for North Carolina State, but let's see what you got here. And let's see. Public Enemy does like the under here. Great. Greg Gibson, look what he said, too. Greg Gibson said, look, NC State beat them already. It was 81-72. And NC State was, favored in that one there, right? Oh, he says Pittsburgh beat them already. No, NC State won. NC State won that game 81-72, and NC State was favored. So let me know if I'm missing that. Robert's on Pitt though here, and I've got to take Pitt. I've just got to take Pitt. All right, hey, we're doing a lot of games, so we'll keep it kind of moving here real fast. Let's go to Maryland taking on Iowa here as we go to the Big Ten. Early start here. Look, I mentioned that steam came in on the under here already in this game, and I think I got to adjust the line here. It is 12.5 and 133, and it's down to 133. It just moved to 133 at BetOnline and BetUS. Just moved it again just seconds ago. I saw it on the screen there. Where's my other line service here where the phone always dies and I like to show the audience here a little bit. There we go. 12 and even 12.5 here for Iowa right now. And total going down. Look at that. I mean, that means the game's supposed to be like 72-59. 72-59. Is that right? Let me see if I can't find the spread here and show it on the screen moving anyway. Yeah, they don't have it all, but it is 133. So let's see what you have here in this one. That steam came in on the under here for sure within the last half hours, whenever we announced it there anyway. Maryland's been going under here of late. Iowa is an over team this season, 18-13 to the over. Overall, 7 of the last 10 meetings between the two have gone over, but Maryland's gone under in 5 of their last 6, and Iowa's gone under in 5 of their last 7. Maryland in here snapped a 4-game losing streak with a win over Oregon. Last time out, they were able to beat the Ducks there, 70-60 to advance. I took the Ducks in that one. That was a dumb call. I mean, uh, what was I thinking there uh, in that one? Just looking at it here a little bit. All right. It was just a bet. I didn't have it out there in public play, but all right, for the Hawkeyes here, they come in with 3 straight losses against Penn State, Michigan, and Nebraska. Iowa's a pretty decent spread team, 13-7 against the spread as a favorite. Maryland is just 10-13 against the spread as a dog, but pretty hefty number here. For sure. These two teams met twice this season. Maryland won at home 77-70, and they were a 10.5 point dog in that one. Meanwhile, Iowa did win at home by 19 and did cover 10.5 here between these two. Yeah, Iowa's been a little bit better of a cover here, but let's see what you have. Maryland's covered 4 out of the last 5 between the two teams. Maryland 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 games overall. Iowa's 3-6 against the spread in their last 9 games overall, and they've lost 4 of 5. It does feel like Iowa's going one way and Maryland's going the other. Yes, Iowa is rated higher. We know that, right? But I don't know. You put something into this. The way the teams are going here right now, they might even put you on Maryland. The Maryland's a team that has had the success against Iowa here. Man, this total, it is going to be a low-scoring game. I just don't know if I can do it here, but I want to. And maybe it should be the show play. I'll go under in this one at 133. Man, this could have been an easy premium here if I'd have been paying attention. Probably should have went under, when it was 137, 136.5, but still think it will be an under. Now, both games did go well over the total this season. In fact, this series has gone well over this number every time right now, but I'm going to go under in this one between Iowa and Maryland. I've got it under. Also, will mention, let me see if I got it here. I want to quote this right. I believe the Big Ten has had 16 straight. I don't want to get this wrong right now. There is a trend that has Big Ten unders right now are pretty much on a wild roll, but I probably should have come with the heat a little bit better on that. Okay. I'm just going to take the under. I think it is an under here between these two. I can't even give you the trends that would say it is an under necessarily, except the fact that both teams are going steadily under here over the last couple of weeks, almost exclusively unders here for the most part. Maryland did go on over against Illinois, but that was the only game in their last 6 that went over, and the 2 overs for Iowa. One was that last game against Nebraska. The other in the regular season, even though Maryland played yesterday, Iowa got the bye here. All right, here we go with Public Enemy likes Maryland here. Maryland looked good against Oregon. He's surprised that the line is what it is there, I think, is what Greg is saying. Terrell says Maryland is garbage. Take Iowa here. The Terps can't play Oregon every time. All right, I'll just take the under here. Let's go to another early start. We're going to the Big 12, and let's take a look at this one with Arizona State and Iowa State. Iowa State ranks 7th in the country, so they're a big favorite, of course, here by 11.5, and the total 147. Give Arizona State some credit; they're fighting hard. In fact, the total's up to 149 here. Remember, this is going to be it for Bobby Hurley, so he's kind of playing out the string a little bit there. Just want to mention here real quick on that Bonaventure-LaSalle game. I know we're on LaSalle. They are missing quite a number of players here, actually, coming in. Some role players got Marshall out, Collier out, Brewer out, Beatty out. Those are 4 injuries here for LaSalle. Just in here, actually, but I'm still on LaSalle. That's okay. Okay, in this one, you have a couple of players missing here for Arizona State. Cash Polk is out. Quentin McCoy is out. Marcus Adams is out here as well. So a little bit of trouble here for Arizona State. The spread maybe has gone up to 12 here right now. The total has risen to 149 here in this one. Look, Arizona State comes in 17-15. They've won 3 of 4. Iowa State's lost 2 of 3. Arizona State with the win yesterday. Hey, we were on them here in the show. I know that, hey, look, you guys were kind of touting Baylor in the chat. I was on Arizona State here. They did get the win 83-79. Iowa State, meanwhile, comes in off of a regular season win over ASU by the score of 86-65. They played in the season finale just back about 4 days ago, and it was Iowa State getting the win and cover at home by 21 points. They covered 16.5, so that may be good enough for you guys to take them again here against ASU in this game. I think the total is a little bit too high here, but I kind of think that Iowa State's going to blow them out of the water, don't you? Let's see what you guys have in the chat. Look, I was on ASU yesterday. I'll take a victory lap in that one, but they could be in trouble. ASU has a good spread record. They are 20-12 ATS. They're also 14-7 against the spread as an underdog. So, you know what? Like I said, when I judge coaches, I'm a gambler. We're sports bettors. I look for coaches that cover the spread. Bobby Hurley may not, keep his job there because of the way they played, especially they were no good on the road. But, hey, if I got a coach to cover the spread, I might – hey, amazing that after all these years, I mean, come on, anybody here, my group, 50-somethings in here, I can't believe I like Bobby Hurley more than I like Danny Hurley at this point in my life. It was the other way around, right? Danny used to be, didn't Bobby, Bobby was always the hothead and Danny was kind of the calm one when they were players 35 years ago or whatever. So I'll take Iowa State in a blowout here. I don't mind this total under, though. If it's going to go up, I'll probably do something with it. But I'm going to take Iowa State in a blowout here to put Arizona State down. I think it's going to all end in a little bit of a cluster here for them. Iowa State also won last year's meeting by 15 by 15 points, by 15 points here. Iowa State has won 14 of their last 20 coming in. Arizona State's never been a good team in March, that's for sure. Arizona State 10-3, though, against the spread in their last 13 here overall. They've gone under in 9 of their last 12. Iowa State's gone under in 13 of their last 18, and this one's going up. I don't know what's going on with that, but I think I'd rather take the under. But my play here on the show is going to be Iowa State, lay the points against ASU. All right, here we go with some plays in the chat. And Sun Devils, though, for Robert, he likes them to hang in there. Terrell says take Iowa and Iowa State for a cornfield parlay. And Greg says, yep, that's that rematch from that game a couple of weeks ago, 86-65, and he thinks Iowa State wins by 10 here, and Arizona State gets some money. Public Enemies on Iowa State. Greg has it as a 10-point game, and hello to Stop Geo in the chat today. Thank you to Stop Geo. Another early game here. This one at 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific with LSU taking on UK in this one in Kentucky. Favored here by 8 in total, 151 or so. You got Kentucky. Let me see here, 9.5, 9.5, and 150.5. It looks like right now. So yeah, Kentucky a little rise in the spread here, huh? There we go. Okay. The widely reported steam did come in on the under here in this one. It's moved here a little bit for sure between these two. And these two teams are not big-time unders here, but I have a feeling this one may be going under. LSU's lost 3 in a row right now to Oklahoma, Auburn, and Texas A&M. They failed miserably, actually, in those games. UK, losers of 2 in a row as well to Texas A&M and Florida. Not easy, but LSU is 8-6 against the spread as an underdog. UK has not been a great favorite. These two teams did meet back in January. It was 75-74. Kentucky could only manage a 3-point win or a 1-point win on the road, laying 3.5 at LSU. For UK here coming into this one, they are 7-3 against the spread in their last 10, but just 2-5 straight up. They were actually a dog in some of those games that got the cover there. For example, against Auburn, they lost by 1, covered 3. They beat South Carolina. They beat Vanderbilt before those 2 losses. 4 of the last 6 meetings between the 2 teams have gone under. LSU's lost 4 of their last 5 against the Cats. LSU is 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 against Kentucky, but LSU has lost 8 of their last 9 games overall. Can they stay in here today in this one? They often do, but they are struggling here a bit. Still, they've been a decent cover this season. They just kind of went downhill a little bit here at the end. Give me the under in this one with LSU and UK. I will take the under here. Let's see what you guys have in this one. I'm going to try to get off the air here at the bottom of the hour so we can go watch the basketball game, the first one. James Farm, let's see, team total over first half for Iowa State. Roberts on LSU plus the points here. Greg says that spread is climbing in that Washington game, huh? Oh, no, was 7. Yeah, spread's climbing in this game. That's what he means, yeah. From what, 7 up to 9.5? Yeah, that would almost maybe LSU is I'm not worried about 1-8 straight up if they're covering some numbers. Although, like I said, they do cover in this series, though. I like that. All right, easy money, says Greg Gibson there. He likes Kentucky by double digits. Gonna keep it moving here right now. Let's go to the Big East. Take a look at this one. First round game here between Xavier and Marquette at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. Got Marquette favored in this one by, looks like, was it 4.5 or has it moved a little bit? I think it's 3.5 here and 154.5. Maybe a little bit of move to the Musketeers here right now. Maybe some 4s out there. I guess we can call it 4, but this is about the line right there. 3.5 or 4 for Marquette. Favored here in this one. Marquette comes in 12-19. Xavier 14-17. Who would have thought? I mean, these are 2 teams that always have better records than this. Xavier has really been struggling more than Marquette of late. Xavier with some pretty awkward losses here down the stretch, getting beat, not even covering. They beat Georgetown, but they have losses to Villanova, Seton Hall, Providence, and Butler that they didn't even come close. Marquette, meanwhile, has won and covered 2 straight. They've actually covered 4 of their last 5 games coming in here. They've shown some signs of life here right now. Have the Marquette Warriors. Maybe coach can get them going here a little bit right now. For Marquette here, they are 8-2 ATS in their last 10. Now they are 3-9 against the spread as a favorite, but have covered 8 of their last 10 overall. And we're not dealing with too big of a number here. Now, I know I've been talking unders here, but these 2 are over teams, or Xavier's an over team for sure. 8 of the last 11 meetings have gone under. Marquette's gone under in 5 straight, but Xavier is one of the biggest over teams in the country. They're 24-7 to the over this season and 16-3 to the over as an underdog. Now, Marquette is 4-7 to the under as a favorite. Xavier's gone over in 8 of their last 9 because their defense is just not very good. They went over against Villanova. It was 169, going over 153. They went over against Seton Hall. It was 143.5. It went to 145 in that one. They went over against Georgetown. It was 155.5. They finished 175. So tournament game, sometimes they're a little bit tougher to go over here, but man, this Xavier team has just been monster over here. Marquette's dropped 13 of their last 20, but like I said, they've been covering the numbers here. Let's see what you got. I'll go to the chat all-stars first in this one. Here we go. And Terrell has been a down year for Shaka here. Take Xavier to cover, even sprinkle the money line. Greg says bring back Coach Miller. Robert's on Xavier here, and he's on the over. All right, give me the over in this one with Xavier and Marquette. Man, Xavier likes to play that pace. And let's see, does it favor Xavier if they play at that pace here, or is Marquette just a better team? I'll take here the over in this one. When these two teams met back in February, it was only 96 to 88 in favor of Xavier. That wasn't overtime or anything. That was just a high scoring game. They also met in January though at Marquette, and it was 66 to 65. We're playing in Madison Square Garden here, and I'm going to go over in this one at 154.5. Greg says Xavier could win this one. Yeah, I mean, look, we got two teams that just have not, like I said, they've definitely not what we expect between these two teams for sure this season there, but. Man, Marquette 16-3 to the over as an underdog. I think that's a stat. All right, let's go to the Mountain West next up and go to the game between Air Force and Nevada, where the spread's 20 and the total is 13 open parentheses 0. There we go. Nevada, told you we got some big spreads here a little bit, right? Air Force has been one of the worst teams around out of these bigger conferences a little bit. Hey, here's a little steam for you. We're going to let me see here. Oh, just hold. I'll give it out, but this is actually for a game tomorrow, I believe, in the MAC. Ohio and Kent State under 160.5. I believe that is tomorrow, but hey, they can steam it today. Under there, Ohio and Kent State under 160.5. Okay, let me talk a little Air Force Nevada here. Nevada, big favorite, of course, in this one. Favored by 20. Here, this is at 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific time. So for University of Nevada here in this one. They come in here with a record of 20-11. Air Force just 3-28. Air Force really not coming close on a lot of these games. Not coming close, but they are covering, ironically enough. They haven't been a great cover, just 10-18 against the spread as an underdog this season, but they've actually covered 3 of their last 4. So are they showing some promise here? The widely reported steam did come in on the under here. I'm not so sure that it'll be an under game between these two, but let's see what you got here. Just want to preview a game from the Mountain West today and see what we got here. All the spreads are pretty big in the Mountain West. Wyoming and UNLV an early game is actually just a 3.5 point spread, but I might have talked about that one on a different show. So all right. Hey, we've got some breaking news here right now, and it's good news. The Colts and Daniel Jones are going to sign a 2-year, $88 million contract for Daniel Jones. Could you imagine Daniel Jones when he's quarterback on the Giants? And I told you, hey, in a couple of years, this guy's going to sign a 2-year, $88 million contract with another team. Wow, Daniel Jones getting paid. They're just breaking news right now. All right, a little bit of steam coming in here in the background. It's between Santa Barbara and Davis. We got some steam to the under here. I was on a show last night talking under in this one. Now the steam's coming in on the under here. It was 142. It's down to 140.5 here with Santa Barbara and Davis. Some steam to the under in that one. All right, I know I got you perplexed here with the Air Force and Nevada and a 20. I don't think we talked about it. A little more steam here. Cincinnati and Central Florida. Steam to the over right now in this one in the Big 12. Those two teams are kind of under teams, but we're seeing steam to the over right there with Cincinnati and South Florida. It was 147.5, and we're up to 149 right now. Steam to the over, Cincinnati and Central Florida. All right, so yeah, I don't think we covered a 20-point spread at all this season, but these two teams did meet back about 4 days ago, 74-59. Nevada was favored by 24.5. They only won by 15 at home in that one. They also met in January. It was a push, 81-66 at Air Force. They were getting 15.5 in that one, so they might be getting enough points here in this one, right? Nevada is just 7-10 against the spread as a favorite. These two teams are over teams, especially Air Force. They've been going over here big time of late. They're 17-12 to the over as an underdog, and Nevada is 11-8 to the over as a favorite here. But the steam has come in. That total's wrong on the screen, by the way. It's 140. It's 140, not 130. There we go. I think I had it wrong. No wonder I had it wrong there a little bit. But it's pretty much been Air Force that's been the over team here of late for sure. They've been putting in some overs here coming into this one right now. They went over against Grand Canyon in an 86-60 loss. They went over against San Jose in an 86-80 loss. They went over against UNLV as well. So this one's at 5:30 Eastern and 2:30 Pacific time. Let's see what you have here in this one with Air Force taking on Nevada here today. And let me get to the numbers here, and then I'll get to the chat, see if I didn't perplex you here a little bit with this one. Air Force comes in here having lost 10 straight, 8 straight to Nevada overall. They still are only 4-14 against the spread, but Nevada has struggled here as well, just 2-6 against the spread. 7 of the last 10 meetings have gone over. Air Force has gone over in 10 of 12, and Nevada's gone over in 4 of 6. I'm going to take the over in this one with Nevada and UNLV. Give me the over here on the Morning Steam Show. Maybe Air Force can hang here. All right, let's see here. Terrell just took LaSalle there on the money line. And Greg here, they're underway. Let me get to that game here right now, actually. The game is underway there with St. Bonaventure and LaSalle there. And what do you think is going to happen between those two? So let me dial it up here. And underway in the A10 first round here right now. So we're underway today, right, with our college tournament games. That total went up to 147 there. Wow, I don't know about that. I think under is the call, actually. I know I'm on LaSalle, but I think under might be the call on that one at 147 right now. Okay, let me see here. I got a few more, and then we got 2 hockey games. Don't forget it. So, man, what's going on here? I got to go. All right, here we go. I think we got, do we have one more here right now? Let me see. Oh, Missouri State and Liberty. I got a few more here. Conference USA quarterfinals here. Conference USA, Missouri State and Liberty. Got Liberty here favored by 5.5. Total here, 142.5. This one's gone down, and I don't disagree with that move. Might be the play here, actually, but Liberty here, only 25-6 this season. Missouri State is the 9 seed, 15-17. Liberty, the number 1 seed. I think this one sets up good for Liberty. I know they're a crummy spread team, but I think they've ended up here a little light on the spread. Liberty's still just 10-15 against the spread as a favorite. Missouri State has covered 3 of their last 4 games overall coming into this one. Missouri State, though, 2-8 straight up in their last 10, but 5-1 against the spread in their last 6. Liberty's just 1-5 against the spread in their last 6, but they've won 17 of 20. That's because they're usually favored by too many points, but this one looks actually manageable. Liberty's gone over in 8 of their last 11. Missouri State's gone over in 15 of their last 20. These two teams are combined 33-24 to the over, and Missouri State is 9-3 to the over as an underdog. So let me go ahead and take the over in this one. I kind of like Liberty, but let's see what you got here. I'll take the over with these two. Anything in the chat? I think the chat's slowing down a little bit, so Greg had some picks in there. Let me keep it moving here right now. We'll get the show over with since everybody's kind of burnt out, ready to go watch the basketball game here, Tulane and Memphis. This is our final preview, actually, of the night. I didn't touch the extra. Well, we gave you the championship games, and so in this one, you got Tulane, you got Memphis here in this one. Favored by 4, and the total 151. Here. Oops. I knew some steam was coming. Pitt is getting steamed right now. That one starts top of the hour. Remember, I took Pitt. Steam's coming in on Pitt. It was, 8.5, 9. It's down here right now to 8, maybe even 7.5 here. Steam on Pitt right now in that game against North Carolina. We talked about those wild spread records. Maybe they opened it up and said, hey, what's going on here? Let's do it. All right, and Missouri State and Liberty, like I said, Tulane, Tulane and Memphis here. I kind of want to watch these games. Memphis here, 13-18 coming in. Tulane, 17-14. Tulane comes in having lost 4 straight. Memphis off of a win, but they were losing games too. Tulane won. Memphis beat Tulane. They just played here back 3 days ago in the season finale. Memphis won 96-95 as a 2.5-point favorite. They didn't get the money. They also played back in February, and it was 78-76. Tulane got the win at Memphis as an 8.5-point dog. So Tulane got the money in both games here, and they are getting 4 points in this one from Memphis here. Tulane is just 7-10 against the spread as an underdog, but Memphis is 7-10 against the spread as a favorite. What's going to happen here with Tulane and Memphis? See what you guys have in this one. I think if you look at the overall, season series between these two, Tulane is just 1-4 straight up in their last 5 games against Memphis, but 6-3 against the spread. Tulane's usually been, amazingly enough, sometimes favored against this Memphis team. We know Memphis has had a rough season, not what we usually expect from Memphis. They've lost 7 of their last 8, going 1-7 against the spread in their last 8 games. So, yeah, both teams have had their struggles here for sure. But like I said, Memphis has kind of I said it backwards, but Memphis has usually won. Tulane has usually covered. Why wouldn't that happen again today? Give me Tulane in this one over Memphis. I'll take the green wave here. All right. Terrell said, let's see here. Tulane, Greg loves them. And Terrell says, I'll take any points given versus Memphis. Tigers are having a down year. Greg likes Memphis. Robert's on the under. All right. Memphis is overrated. Is this going to be it for Penny? They haven't had a year this has been the worst year for Penny, I think, right? All right, let's see here. We got 2 games in the National Hockey League, then we're out of here. First up, oh gosh, I don't have any. I was so excited. I don't have any graphics. I'll just wrap it up. I'll just wrap it up, you guys. I don't have any graphics for the NHL games today. Oh my God, what's going on? Canadians and Senators are first off in this one. I'll tell you right now, I've got the over in both games. We're going to wrap it up here real quick. We're not even going to do the drawing. Use the promo code LIVE to get 1 free week of picks from me over at winnable.com. Promo code LIVE. Get you 7 free days. It'll take you right through this weekend, the NCAA, and take you right into the play-in games of the NCAA tournament. Use the promo code LIVE for 7 free days. That's what we're going to do today. No drawing. Use the promo code LIVE for 1 free week here to celebrate the tournament getting ready to go here today, all these conference tournaments, and that'll lead you right into those games on Tuesday and Wednesday in the play-in. So that's what we'll do. I've got the over in both games today in the National Hockey League, Montreal and Ottawa. Total there is 6.5 in that one. Ottawa comes in having won 3 straight games overall. The teams are a combined 75-51 to the over this season. Montreal 23-11 to the over as an underdog, and also 21-11 to the over on the road. So I've got the over in that one, and then I also went over in Washington and Philly here tonight. Now the trends aren't as heavy with the over here in that one, but I'm just going over. I don't know if I have the trends to kind of argue this one too much. I'm just taking it as the matchup here between these two. There's no doubt that these two teams do trend under, but I'm going over with them tonight with the total at 6 in that one between Washington and Philadelphia. It is shaded to be over here a little bit. One more Steam play, so over in both hockey games. The morning Steam show is over. Make sure you're subscribed up with me to get more plays and use that promo code LIVE to get more plays from me. One more Steam play, and then we're out of here. Thank you, everybody, for a great show. Cal Poly and UCSD. Steam to the did I get this one right? Wait a minute here. Oh, yeah, Cal Poly and UCSD. Steam to the over here. Wow, look at this one. This one was 158. We're up to 160 here. Cal Poly and UC San Diego. My Tritons tonight. All right. Hey, stick around. Make sure you subscribe up. I'm going to send out some Champions League soccer. I'm going to have more basketball today. I'm going to sit here all day, watch the games. That's what I do. And if you want to get more plays from me, go right there to winnable.com/Ramon. Mikey Money, tell us.
Hey, it's Mikey Money here, letting you know the Sports Money team is live on Winnable. Come check out our best bets.
For a low monthly cost, you get the very best bets delivered instantly to your phone by text the moment they're locked in. No delays, no missed lines, just the smartest plays at the best odds.
We do the work, you get the plays, and they're sent right to your phone right when we drop them.
Don't wait, don't guess, don't miss the line. Join the winning team today and start cashing tickets with Winnable.
All right, it's 10-10 here at the first break in the St. Bonaventure LaSalle game. So, hey, everyone, just remember, so use the promo code LIVE today. I'm not going to do a drawing. I just want to get some more people signed up if I can. Look, I don't want to trick anybody here. If you're already signed up, I thank you, and I'm trying to work it out. I might have to ask everyone. I might need to send people a link to get into that new. I'm going to try a Discord here to put more information in. That seems like the best way. Having a little tug of war here with trying to get a website with Mikey, and so maybe we'll try a Discord here. That's what he's suggested. So we'll do it that way, but I got to get more people signed up. So look, if you think you're going to sign up and you're going to forget about it and then you get charged and you're going to be mad at me, then don't do it. But if you've been thinking about signing up or if you haven't signed up, please do that. I want to try this Discord. I don't even know how. I'm in some Discords. I don't know how it works, but this looks like maybe a solution. I think what happens is when I make the pick, you can get the notification via Discord, and I'm going to put more information in there, including the AI regurgitation of the transcript of the show. So what it'll look like, and I've done it, and I have been told you guys about it, and I just haven't been able to get it going because I'm terrible at this. But where the AI talks about it, it'll say what Ramon said about the Cavaliers and Magic. Ramon said it's going to go, that goes under mostly, and this one could be a close game because or whatever. And then at the end it says Greg took the Magic, Robert took the under, and then it takes my transcript and turns it in so that you, instead of going back and not that anybody does that, it goes back and listens to me or anything like that. I mean, some people may do it, but you can just go into the Discord and see the transcript of the show, and it breaks up every game. So you're like, oh man, I don't know who I like in this game. What did Ramon like? Or what did so-and-so in the chat like? And you might be able to just go to the Discord and see what 4 or 5 people in our group liked. So I'm working on, I think that's how I'm going to try it here. It may even take until baseball season to get it right, but that's what I'm working on. So please, if you can and you haven't subscribed yet, I don't want to fake it. I don't want to, fake you into doing this, but I'm trying to get some subscribers so I can see how this works. That's about all I can say about it. I would like to have more subscribers too, but I'm not doing it because of that. In fact, you might be a test dummy. You might be a test, I won't say dummy, but you might be a help test this out for me if you can. If anybody hasn't signed up and they've been thinking about it, this is the time I'd like for you to do so I can see how this works and if I'm doing it right, because I don't know what I'm doing here. I've been in Discords before, and I just thought I could have my own and do the things that I want to show you with our shows and that stuff. So, okay, 2 more steam moves. We're out of here. Bethune-Cookman under just got steamed, and Iowa State just got steamed in that early start game there against Arizona State. Remember, I was on Iowa State. That one starts in a little less than 45 minutes. Thanks a lot, everybody. Really appreciate it. Promo code is LIVE, LIVE. Thanks to everyone in the chat there. And I think we got everybody in there. Just thank you so much, you guys, for that. And we're going to do it here. Thanks, Robert. Yeah, maybe maybe I can send Robert. You're so good for me and such a great supporter. Here, you're my number one guy, and maybe I can send you the link because I think you have to be a resubscribe or something. So maybe I can get that Discord link to you, and I can get somebody in there. Nobody's in there, and so it's just something I want to try though. Thanks a lot, everybody. We'll see you later. Don't forget Mikey Money here at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 Pacific, and I think VBMMB Picks is at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific. If you don't catch it, it'll be in the live tab. For the Sports Money Network, I'm Ramon Scott. So long from Las Vegas.
I don't know what you thought. It's Ramon Scott running so hot. Sports make money and we make money with sports money every single day. NFL, NHL, NCAA. Stay away from the juice or might play a parlay. It's the morning steal. Ramon Scott. Sports money. Wake your ass up and let's get to